Hey friends, welcome back to the Why Would I Say That podcast. It's your girl Tiara, and today, if you're watching on YouTube, you can tell we're in a different location because everything was going wrong. Right when I started to make a series episode, which I've never done, but of course, where I record, the power's out because someone got in a car accident, which I really hope they're doing okay. God bless them. I hope it wasn't bad. I hope everyone is still healthy and alive and breathing. But yeah, so now we have to be in a different location because I didn't have lights or anything to plug anything in there. And yeah, it's a podcast and there's a lot of electronics. So we're in a different location today because I also have a job, so I can't just do this on another day. I have to record today so I can have this edited because I can't leave you on the cliffhanger from last week if you watched last week's episode. Anyway, last week I decided to talk a little more about my toxic relationship, what was happening, and I set the tone on how I was being abused for 3 years and I didn't know. So I just talked about the beginning. I talked about love bombing. I talked about some of the stories that happened. If you want to check that out, make sure you watch last week's episode or listen. It's the episode that I released right before this. And the name of it is My BPD Was Used Against Me, part 1. So this is going to be part 2. Before I get into the nitty gritty of this and start talking my crap or whatever this is, I want you to know that this is actually not me just sitting here talking crap. I'm not trying to be validated. I don't need to yeah, it really happened. No, it didn't really happen. I'm not looking for that. I actually just want to help people. Why is there a fly? Did anyone see that fly? I want to make this podcast to help other people going through something similar because when I was going through this, I didn't know I was being abused. I would berate myself. I thought I was the problem. I couldn't see past anything. I just want to create this just in case someone's going through this. They stumble upon this podcast and was like, holy crap, I'm in that situation. That's why I'm posting this. I just want to help other people. This is not slandering anyone. I'm not name dropping. I'm not doing any of that. I am just making this to help other people. I want to make that very, very clear. As much as I sometimes still do question it, the validation is amazing. It does feel great to know that it's like, hey, that's actually what happened to me. To anyone, that would feel great. But this really is just to help other people. I just don't want it to come off wrong. So that's why it took me so long to talk about these things. If you know someone going through something similar, maybe share this podcast with them. Sometimes the awareness can just change someone's life. Anyways, let's get back into this not so great topic of me being abused for 3 years without knowing. If you didn't watch last week's episode and you're still watching this one anyways, I'll summarize it for you as fast as I can. Basically, my ex and I got together. When we got together, he was attached to the hip. He loved me. He was doing so many amazing things in the beginning. Stopped doing those things. If I brought up any problems, he would tell me that I think about it wrong because I'm mentally ill. Basically, when my parents got divorced and my cat died, he told me I was too sad and just left me. That is when my brain was like, I think something's weird, but I was still believing that I was mentally ill. Just summed it up in 10 seconds. Again, if you want more detail, please watch last episode because I want to get into the breaking point of this and why I saw it and what I did after to get out so I can help people, Watch last week's episode if you want to know more. Other than that, let's get into where I left off. So basically, we were never on and off again, but we did break up because all of that was happening. We did not talk that entire time. I thought I ruined it all, so I didn't want to bother him, so I didn't want to reach out, but I was super sad. And he always told me while we were dating that he will never hit an ex back up. He will never get back together with an ex, and he'll never reach out again. So I genuinely believed that we were done. We were never going to get back together, and I was super sad. I was so sad. I was so depressed. I was not getting out of bed because I genuinely thought he was the love of my life, and I ruined it all because I thought I was too sad when my cat died and my parents got divorced. I just beat myself up for it. I thought I was too sad and I still don't handle anything right and something's wrong with me. So I really took this breakup really, really hard and I was just nitpicking everything about myself and trying to change everything about myself to make myself better because I was still running off of that. That relationship. I was still thinking from that mindset of I need to fix something. Something's wrong with me. He told me every day I need to fix this and that. And I'm thinking weird. Genuinely taking it so hard. Never thought he was going to reach out. But one day I was at the gym and I used to work with a bodybuilding coach, which I don't do that anymore. I don't like that. It's not good for my brain. Okay, it's not. But that's another story for another time. But I was working with a bodybuilding coach at the time and he was talking to my ex and he was plotting on us getting back together, I guess. My ex pulled me aside and he's like, can we talk? And I was like, yeah. I miss you. I miss you so much, because I was taking it so hard, and I really was thinking that everything was my fault. Like, he had me believing that everything that ever went wrong was my fault, and I somehow had control of everything. Like, it was actually insane. Like, at this point, my brain was just like broken. Genuinely. But I just was like, yeah, I miss you. I've been doing all this work. We should get back together. And we decided to get back together. And in part one, I did say that, like, we basically moved in together, but he got his own apartment at this time. Yay him, go him. Round of applause for him. One freaking thing he ever did. He got his own apartment, so we decided to start dating again, start working on things, and try to, like, be separate some nights, stay together some nights, take it a little bit slower. Because didn't really go that much slower. We just stayed at each other's apartments every night now. But while this was happening, there was like no trust between each other. You would have thought I cheated on this man to break up with me, but he was acting like I was cheating on him. Anytime I went anywhere, what are you doing? Who are you talking to? What are you doing? He constantly went through my phone and all that stuff. And I promise you, I rarely did that. Like, I rarely checked his phone, because I have a deep belief if you look for something, you're gonna find something. And why am I gonna make myself sick? If that's serious, it will come to light. If I need to know, it will come to light, because I manifest it, and it always does for me. So I don't really go through phones. I don't do all that. If you don't trust the person that you're dating, don't date them. Why don't you trust your person? Want to make you feel like you can't trust them. I know I have BPD and the fear of abandonment, but I don't like the idea of making myself sick for no reason. I don't think my partner should put me in those positions to make myself sick. And also, anyway, you would have thought I cheated on this man. Yeah, but there really wasn't anything that bad. Just basically the same cycles that we were happening before. We'd get in the same arguments over and over again. But I was just like, well, at least I'm not crying over my dead cat and my parents being divorced. At least I shut up about that. And I sucked it up. I really think my emotions were doing a little bit better from being on that break from him. Because before we moved out together, I remember I was doing so well. And that was a point I made in the very, very end. So actually, I don't think we were actually doing too bad. I just remember there being a trust issue. Because in a few months, while we were still living separately, my mom always made a promise to me that she would take me to Vegas once I turned 21. We were going to Vegas, and he decided he was going to come with. So he came with me. This is like a weird part in the story, because I'm telling you right now, where I just said I think we were doing pretty good, I was fully convinced that we were doing good. Like, I was fully convinced that me and this man were doing great. Like, I'm so delusional. We're the happiest relationship in the world. Everyone should want to be in a relationship like this. Like, we are that couple. Like, I'm literally convinced that we're doing well, and we're doing our big one this time around. But we were in Vegas with my mom, and I remember sitting at the table one time, and I actually don't remember this at all, because I think I got so used to it. Like, I didn't think it was an issue. My ex was sitting there, and he was like, oh, when I went over here, this girl she just kept talking to me. And I apparently didn't say anything, because like I said, unless if you did something, it'll come to light. And I genuinely don't care. And especially if you're sitting here talking about it, you probably didn't do anything. You're just bragging. I don't really care. Like, I don't care unless you her. Did you her? No. Okay. No issue. And I didn't think anything of it. I actually don't even remember this happening. I barely remember this happening, but I do kind of remember it, because when it was pointed out, he was sitting there talking about how this girl did this to him, how he kept talking to her. I cannot remember the exact details. Again, I cannot remember. But the next day, my mom comes up to me and was like, Tiara, he tries to make you jealous on purpose. She goes, I've seen him do it at least 3 times you on this trip. He has tried to make you mad on purpose. And that made me remember from the beginning of a relationship, he used to always tell me it was so cute when I got mad. So cute. He always used to say yeah, the face that you make when you get mad turns me on. And I just really, my mom telling me that, I was like, that's weird. I was like, that's really weird, because I think he's told me that word for word before. The rest of that trip, my mom just kept pointing out small things, but it was never oh, he's deliberately being mean to you. He's playing mind games with you. And she even said, I had a feeling that I didn't like him, but I put up with him because there was no proof of it. But after that trip, I never liked him since. After the trip. She told me that after the trip, and I was like, oh, wow, okay. We just had to stay a week with my mother for her to see it and be outside of our own little world, because we were always just together, but we would never do anything. So even after Vegas, my mom pointing out these red flags, I'm still guys, it's fine. You guys just don't get it. And my mom just got divorced. Why would she understand? My friend was single. Why would she get it? They're not in a relationship. They just don't understand. So then I stayed in the relationship because I'm delusional. You know, I know I'm beating myself up and being really like mean. I guess I'm being kind of self-deprecating. Genuinely, how I cope. I cope with humor, and that is my humor. I know that sounds so bad, but that is my humor. You are not dumb if you're in the situation. You are not delusional. You are in love, and you really want to care for somebody. That person is just not the person you can care and love for. They're not willing to accept it, and you have so much love like inside of you. You're not dumb. You're not delusional. I'm being self-deprecating, and I cope with humor. So please don't ever be like, well, Tierra says that you're this and this and that if you're that. No, I was there, okay? And genuinely, from like trying to look outside in, I was in love. I had a lot of love to carry. I really wanted to be with him. I really wanted this to work. I thought I was going to marry this kid. Literally what it was, being transparent and vulnerable as I can be. That is what I thought at the time. Now, I would not marry him. I wouldn't even look at him. I genuinely, like, I'm rather not. Like, I'm so icked out because I put up with it until I was icked out, basically. Okay, but we'll get to that part of the story. But I stayed with him after Vegas, and while we're living separate, I swore that we had like no issues. We would stay with each other pretty often. There would be some nights I would stay alone now, not unlike from before. We tried to have distance and stuff because I said that was one of my boundaries. But I thought we were doing really, really good. And it was about August of whatever year it was. I don't even know, and I don't care. But he got a job from life insurance. And if you know anything, it's basically like multi-level marketing. You got to get a team underneath you in order to like actually make money. It's like a whole thing. Okay. He basically got a job opportunity from his dad's best friend to join life insurance, which his dad's best friend owned the company, like owned the entire companies across all of the country. He was rich. So he was just like, I feel bad for my ex in a way. Like he was just like fed all these glitz and glorious things and he wanted to go, and I was supportive. So in August, he asked me if I wanted to move to Pittsburgh. And honestly, why would I want to move to Pittsburgh? No hate to Pittsburgh, but like it is the same thing as Cleveland. I live in Ohio. I'm like, it's the same thing, just a little tiny different. And I know everyone from Cleveland and Pittsburgh will be like, it's not the same thing. It is literally the same thing in a different state. I think all big cities are pretty much the same, but just a tiny bit different culture. Anyways, why would I move to Pittsburgh? It's cold. I didn't want to go. I first told him no for many reasons. The cost of living is going to go up. Their wages go down. There are so many reasons not to live in Pittsburgh. I didn't want to go. And I was already kind of hurting financially because I was kind of stupid with my money. And not only that, I've been living on my own since 18, paying all my own bills, buying all my own food, paying for my own school, paid for all my own car. I paid everything all by myself. So yeah, I was struggling with money because I moved out at 18 with like $2,000 and paid my first and last month's rent with it and made it work. So we made it work, but I was hurting and I couldn't afford it, and I didn't want to put my bills on a man. I really don't, because then I feel like they can have some control over me because they paid for this, and now I'm going to feel like I'm obligated to do something. I know that I might not be literally obligated to do something just because someone paid for it, but I feel obligated, okay? So I just didn't want him paying like everything. But I told him, like, I was like, hey, like, I cannot move. I don't want to move. My rent was literally $550 a month at the time. I was living in a terrible area. And he was like, no, like, it's fine. Like, my dad's best friend's going to pay our first month's rent. From there, I will take over the rent. You won't have to worry about anything. Just help out where you can. Like, you can just buy the groceries and everything. And I was like, are you sure? And I have text messages of this. I was like, are you sure? He's like, yes. I was like, are you 100%? Because I think that we will be together for the rest of our lives. I will go with you to support your dream. I just don't want to stay here forever. He was like, okay, 100%. I want you there with me. I don't want to do this without you. And I was like, oh, he loves me. So I went with him because we're getting serious. Like, I was so excited. It's my first apartment with a boyfriend, like actually like moving in with each other with the intent of moving in with each other, and not just I was trapped with a man. I mean, even though he was the one I was trapped with, but like I was really excited to start this new journey. I was like, oh, we're basically starting over in a new city. Everything's going to go great. No, it did not. The first month, fine. Our rent paid for. We did it. Yay, go us. We paid it. Second month, I helped out with the rent because he's still building his team and things aren't going so well. He has to do a lot of cold calls. Cold calls are really hard. I'm not saying that they're not hard. Second month, I ended up helping out. And towards the end of that second month, he decided he didn't want to work there anymore, which is fine. It's a really hard job. But we're here now, and we signed a lease, and we have to make it work until then. If that's the decision you want to make, like, I'm supportive. That's what you want. I'll support that. So he quits. I even give him leeway of not looking for a job for 1 to 2 weeks, okay? Because you just moved to the city. You promised you'd pay my bills. I can barely afford my bills now. I had the same job that I had when I was living in Ohio. I just transferred a store because that's when I was working at Olive Garden. Because I'll disclose the location, the stores and things that I've worked at when I don't work there anymore. But that's when I was working at Olive Garden. I didn't have the current job that I have. And I wasn't making anything. And their server wages, $2 an hour there. And Olive Garden tips suck. They just do. So I wasn't making much money or anything, but I was going to work, doing the thing, and it was probably like almost a month where he didn't work when I was like, hey, like, I can't do this by myself. I can't do it. I can't. Like, I literally can't. I'm stressed. I'm tired. And I'm coming home and you're playing video games on the couch every day. And that's when we started getting in these really big arguments. He tells me that I'm not supportive of his mental health when he's been supportive of mine the whole time. And I just don't get it. He should be able not to work. He doesn't want to go back to a job that's beneath him. He will never serve again. He won't apply to any food job, any retail job. He's not doing it because he should make it, and it's not fair. That hurt my feelings because I'm serving tables to pay our bills right now while you sit at home playing video games, but I'm beneath you. Thank you, BetterHelp, for sponsoring this podcast. Since sharing this podcast and getting to know so many of you, I've realized I'm really not alone. Like the amount of times I've shared something that I thought was embarrassing or too much and someone goes, me too. It's actually wild. I never realized how much we as humans need support, whether that's friends, families, or professional. For me, BetterHelp is that extra layer of support when my brain is doing the most. Therapy has helped me slow down and even break down my thoughts, leading to those breakthroughs and those life-changing moments. Without therapy, I genuinely don't know if this content would exist. Therapy has given me the ability to be more self-aware and actually articulate what's going on with me. As a borderline myself, I want to be real with you. In the past, I've had therapists make me feel like they just didn't get it. And that can be so disheartening and even stop you from even trying. I love BetterHelp because I truly do prefer online therapy. I can set up last minute appointments, there's less cancellations, and I can just switch therapists if the vibes aren't right, all without the wait list and the weird guilt. Especially when you waited months for that appointment. That's where BetterHelp stands out to me. I can switch and message my therapist within a day if I'm looking for a better fit. And that has helped me get the kind of support I've desperately searched for. If this sounds like you, I have been sponsored by BetterHelp to give you 10% off your first month. Use my code betterhelp.com/TiaraLorraine. BetterHelp is accessible to anyone, anytime, anywhere, making help more accessible than ever. Whether you prefer phone calls, text messages, video chats, all options are available so you can get the help that works best for you. Again, that's betterhelp.com/TiaraLorraine for 10% off your first month. Now, back to the episode. What? And you're using the mental health card when you know that's the one you pull on me when things go wrong? What? And then because those arguments started to happen, he was being really angry and mean all the time. One time we ended up meeting his cousin to go grocery shopping back in our hometown, and he didn't want to go. He was mad at me for going, but it was his cousin, and I really I don't know. He was just angry that we were going, even though we were meeting his cousin. It was weird. I don't know. I just remember him yelling at me the whole way there. Okay, we get there. He's still yelling up a storm. I don't want to be here. You just forced me to do everything. Blah, blah, blah. And his cousin was like way older than us. She was like almost in her 40s. And she was just really, really cool. But she pulled me aside and said, he should not be talking to you like that. And he should not be acting like that. And I was like, ooh, now your cousin's pointing it out. But at this time, I'm starting to see it. Like, you're putting all the bills on me. You're just, I don't even know what's happening anymore. I'm just like starting to see it. And like, I'm getting angry because this is not supposed to happen. This is not supposed to happen. I was supposed to have a dream and an apartment with a boy and we were supposed to get married. No, it didn't happen. But anyway, his cousin points it out to me. We're then still living at the apartment. He still won't get a job. We're starting to argue all the time. And one day we're sitting there and he starts complaining that I'm not having sex with him. And I'm like, yeah, because you're being mean to me and I'm not attracted to you. Like, you're letting me down. And I'm like spiritually not attracted to you. And I'm one of those people, I have to be like spiritually attracted to someone to like do the deed, or I think about it too much. I get distracted and I can't concentrate. So I can't force myself to do those things with someone I don't feel like is protecting me or like has my best interest. Like, I literally can't. Like, my body's like, no, please stop. Like, it'll reject you, and my body's rejecting you. And like, I told him that, like, I was very honest. I was like, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, you've been so mean to me. Like, I don't feel like safe. I don't feel safe. He starts throwing a fit. Like, I'm talking screaming, crying, laying in a ball on the floor, which I've done this a million times. I'm not making fun of him for doing those things, but over when you're the mean one is crazy. So he's screaming, crying, throwing a fit, saying he can't be nicer to me until I start having with him, that I'm not providing it for him the way that I need to so he can provide for me. Like, I'm just not nurturing enough. I'm not this. I'm the mean one. I'm so evil. I just get on him about anything. And then realistically, I was just trying to push him to be the better version of himself. I'm like, you have never, I guess now looking back and I'd say you has been like that. But in my brain at the time, I pedestalized him so much. I was like, you've never acted like this before. You've never been so mean. You've never not had it together. I just want you to be better. And you're being mean to me on top of it. Like, it was really hard. It was really, really hard. And I feel like every day we were waking up on this constant loop. We'd wake up from the argument the night before. We'd be like, okay, we're going to do better today. We're going to do this. We'll do like the therapy communication styles. And then all of a sudden at the end of the night, it would blow up. We'd be in a big fight. We'd be screaming, crying at each other, and then we would just repeat the cycle. We'd wake up the next day and talk to each other, make it better, blow up at night. It was like a constant cycle. It was like a literal cycle. It was a literal cycle for me. Like, it felt like a loop of the same day, every single day, over and over, of a very bad day. I feel like I was living my worst day of my life every single day. There's so many stories in between that I'm missing, but I feel like you don't need to hear all the he said, she said stuff. I am going to give you one more because it really was bad and I did not like it. But yeah, there was just so much happening. Like, I remember one time we were sitting in the car and this made me think that, like, I have no idea what was wrong. Like, I know that he had some mental health stuff going on at the end because I was like, he's never acted like this before, but it was like crazy. One day we were sitting in the car and we were like going like to go like just on a drive and talk out our problems because we wanted it to work. It just wasn't working. So we were like talking it out, but he starts getting mean to me. And he starts talking about how I'm the one that's always so sad and it's my mental health that's the issue and I'm not supportive and I'm not that. And that's when I started to mentally check out. Like, I was just like, I can't do this. But because he was like screaming at me, I like did this thing, and I know I shouldn't test someone that's going off the rails, but I tested him. I told myself, I said, I'm not going to talk for the entire car ride and see if he stops talking. The whole time he berated me, he screamed at me, he told me that the reason that my parents got divorced is the way that I think, and that I don't know anything, and that I shouldn't believe anything from my childhood. And like, yeah, like, was my childhood perfect? Not by any means. But when my parents just got divorced, you're going to throw it in my face and tell me that there's something wrong with me because of it. You're using it against me. You're using my parents' divorce against me. Like, I don't even know how to word it, but I just remember him being like, well, the reason your parents didn't work out is because they did stuff without each other. And that's why I don't let you go off without me. I don't let you do this, blah, blah, blah. And it was just like trying to drill into my head, like, all my beliefs were wrong. Like, it was bad. It was really, really bad. And I'm telling you, for the hour straight, he just screamed at me in this car. I did not say a word. And I remember when we got out of the car, I was like, did you even realize I did not talk that entire time? Sent him into a rage. And that was actually crazy. Like, I didn't expect him to be like in a rage after. But at this point, I was just clocking T. Like, I'm fed up. Like, you're calling me out on my parents. You're using mental health against me. Like, you're word for word now telling me at times, this is what you're doing to me. And I'm done. Like, I'm mentally checked out. Like, I was just mentally gone. I'm not going to lie. I was just gone in the end because I just couldn't do it. Like, I couldn't do it. I think I was so emotionally withdrawn. I couldn't do it, but I was still there. And now I just don't know what to do. I don't know if I should leave. I don't know if this is just a rough patch. I don't know what to do. Like, cause I'm like convinced I was like, everything was good. Like, why is it so bad right now? Like, I can fix this. I can fix this. Like, I was just genuinely convinced I could fix it, even though I was so mentally checked out. And I just didn't know what to do. I, for some reason, could not leave. I couldn't do it. But I was done. And I honestly was just like waiting for my out also. Like, I just needed something to be like, you can come stay here. You're not financially attached to this anymore. We signed a lease together. Like, I'm financially attached to this man for at least one more year. Like, I didn't know what to do. Okay, so I was trying to make it work because we do have things now attached to each other, but also I'm waiting for an out because I'm so mentally checked out. I have no idea how to explain that. Like, I just felt so stuck, and it was like the worst feeling ever. Like, I actually have a knot in my chest right now, and I forgot how that felt. It literally feels like you're going to throw up all the time. But then one day I come home from work, and all his bags are packed by the door. It's 10 p.m. Reminder, he still doesn't have a job. He could have just left and just texted me. But he waited till I got home from work, and he goes, I needed you to see what you did to me. You see all this? I'm leaving. I just needed you to see. And like slowly grabs his bags and like starts leaving. And I was just like, you know what? Leave. And that made him really mad. Now we're arguing. He's like, you're not even fighting for me. I'm like, what is there to fight for? I fought for you for the last 3 years, and you don't do anything but fight me. Like, I fight for you, and all you do is fight me on it. And he was just like, no, it's all your fault. It's your mental health. I'm leaving because your mental health. It's just too much. And like kept saying that. And then he leaves. He leaves. And I'm like, whatever. Like, I don't know what to do because we're in a lease together. And I don't know what to do because all the utilities are in your name. And I don't know how to pay any of these because I'm stuck here. Because while this was happening, because of the whole job thing, I ended up quitting my job, getting a better paying job so I could pay the bills because my rent doubled. Went from $550 a month to $1,200 a month. So now I have to figure out how to pay this by myself. So I switched jobs. But because I just switched jobs, I now know if I move, I will not have a job and I will be completely screwed. I will still be under a lease and all that. So I was just stuck there, and I told him, I was like, listen, I might stay here. I just need to give you money so you can pay my utilities. So like a week later, he comes back and he was just like, honestly, like I was thinking about maybe I can move back in and all this stuff. And I told him like straight up, no. The guy was like, you're gone. You're done. I feel like I should just figure this out. Everyone keeps telling me this relationship isn't good for me. I think I just need time to figure myself out because I went through a lot because of the last few months. And I know you did as well. But I think I need time because my symptoms of my BPD did end up getting really bad. He wasn't there when this happened. And that's why I'm like, there were certain things I'm like, yes, was I sad and mentally ill at times? But I'm not a scapegoat. I am not a scapegoat. And it wasn't that all the time. I promise you it wasn't that. But my symptoms were getting so bad, like to the point I accidentally gave myself a black eye during a little episode. He wasn't there, but I gave myself a black eye. It sounds stupid. I didn't like punch myself in the face, but I threw something that bounced back and hit me in the face. Moral of the story, don't throw things. So my symptoms were really bad, and I just really was like, I need out. Like, I need a break. And whatever. He leaves in a rage, screaming at me, whatever. But I did give him the money for my heat, water, electric, all that stuff. But the next day, I come home from work. My heat's turned off. My water's turned off. My electric was turned off. Everything in that apartment, the Wi-Fi, everything. Since they were in his name, he turned them off. I gave him money for them the day before. But he wasn't helping me pay rent or anything when he was living there. At the end, anyway. Like, he said he was going to, and I would never put that on anyone, but that was my promise. And at this point, I was so financially screwed. Like, I really was, because I'm paying all this rent by myself that I didn't plan on. I barely had money before I moved there. And that's why I didn't want to move there. I had to pay all the utilities. So all the bills were like just way above my means. Like they just were. But to turn the electric on, $200 extra on top of the first month. And I already paid him $200 for the heat, $200 for the water, plus the first month. That's another $1,000 and I didn't have it because I just paid rent and I just gave him the utility money. I was so screwed. And again, because I do have a serving job, I could have picked up enough shifts. But at that point, I was so mentally broken, sad. I was now living in a state where I had no friends, no family, nothing. I didn't know a single person there at all, besides my coworkers, which I started working with a week ago. And I needed to be home. So I decided to move back home. So I broke the lease. I paid double the rent to get out of it because that's all it took for me to get out of the lease was to pay double a month's rent and to let them know. And that's what I did. So I ended up paying another $2,500 to get out of that lease and to break everything off with that guy. He then tries to text me a little bit later, and I told him, I'm done. Don't ever contact me again. I don't ever want to talk to you again. You screwed me over to prove a point. Financially, emotionally, mentally, and I was having episodes where I hurt myself physically. You've hurt me in every aspect but physically, and I am done. The whole thing about him turning off the heat in the water and all that stuff is what did it for me, because it was winter. I had no service where I lived. My neighbor was stalking me, and he did it to prove a point. You put me in such an unsafe position. I was reading books every single day because I had nothing to do and entertain myself while I was there. I had to shower at my gym for the last almost month that I lived there. I couldn't fill up a water cup if I wanted water. And he did that to prove a point. And I'm about to cry right now because that's the only thing that made me realize. He tried to strip me all basic needs, and he tried coming back after and said, basically like, did you learn your lesson, blah, 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 or whatever. And I was like, no, because we're done. And yeah, that's basically the end of it. And I know I missed a few things because there's a few things coming to the top of my brain. I'm like, dude, there was way more that I didn't even say, but it was really bad. And he screwed me over so bad. And I was just so emotionally messed up because then still when I moved home, I used to cry in my dad's arms every day asking him, did I leave too soon? Should I have put up with more? Because we've invested all that time together. Maybe I wasn't there for his mental health. Maybe it was my mental health. Maybe I can't be there for people because I only need people there for me. Maybe I am that selfish. I was questioning everything, but it was literally that heat in that water that kept reminding me don't go back. I genuinely believed it was my fault still, but I knew it wasn't because I finally had proof that I wasn't crazy. And it took me a really long time to see that. Even with the proof, I felt like it was still my fault in a way, and I have no idea why. You turn the heat and water off of me, and I still think it's my fault. That's what made me realize I was like, girl, get up. I know I'm making a joke, but literally, I would have to talk to myself about it in my brain. Girl, get up. No, I miss him. Girl, get up. No, girl, get up. No, after going through that and now being where I am today, I was so dysregulated because of that relationship. I was very much more sensitive than I am now. Everything would make me cry. I was so fragile and broken after. It was it was terrible. It was terrible. My symptoms were the worst that they've ever been. But at the same time, I hear that's so common with BPD that when you're not in a relationship, no one can really trigger you. So you don't get triggered. So now I'm fine. Then I wasn't. But then it makes me think back to the relationship. Was that my fault? Because I'm BPD. Maybe I was mentally ill. Maybe he was right. I don't know. He's still it's not I got up, guys. Okay. I'm over it now. That's why I'm able to talk about it the way that I talk about it. I think before I'd have been a lot more emotional. I'm very much over it now. But still, sometimes I think maybe I was mentally ill. Maybe he was right. Because maybe I did cause everything because I am mentally ill. I know that's my fault for thinking that way, but it's he embedded it in me. I try to take accountability all the time, and I think it's another one of my biggest flaws. I'm like, oh yeah, guys, it's my fault. It's my fault. It's my fault. But like, dude, he also embedded it in me. I try not to push blame ever, but like in this situation, I kind of need to, because I need to like get up. Like, that was not my fault. I did not see that, and it's okay. I lived it, and I am on the other side now. All those stories over and over again, the constant cycles and the things that I was going through, and now that I like can look back at it like from a more stable brain, it's so subtle, but it's so painful, and it's so like, it messes you up. And it's really hard to explain to people, like, when you do go off about something small, that it wasn't that small thing, that it's all the things. Because I was painted out to be crazy the entire time. Like, he was even calling my parents and talking to them about how crazy I am after he set me off. Like, I don't even think I told you guys about the one time where he accused me of cheating for over an hour, and I tried giving him proof of it. And he got in my face and was yelling at me for over an hour, to the point I started crying. And then he told me that I was crying because I definitely did it, and I'm a liar. And he like called everyone and basically told them I was cheating because of my reactions. I was made out to be so crazy. Like, I might be crazy, and I know I come on the internet and say I'm crazy. Probably doesn't help the whole fact either. But like, I'm not, like, guys, it was reaction. I was very reactive when I did go crazy. I was very reactive. Like, he would egg me on a lot, and it sucked. It's really hard to explain. And now, like, there's so many stories coming in my head. I'm like, oh my God, I missed that. I missed that. I missed that. But that is not the point of this video, to air out everything. It's more of the point of, like, just for someone who else is going through this, or to be aware of the signs of it. Like, I'm not making this to slander anyone. I'm literally just making this to help somebody going through the same thing. Again, this episode is getting really, really long, so I'm going to make a part 3 of this about like after, how I took care of myself, how I got over it. And like, I don't think I'll ever be completely over it. I think it'll stick with me because I like use everything as a learning experience, because I think everything is like a higher meaning. I know not everyone believes in that, but I genuinely believe everything has higher meanings and lessons to learn and all that. I know no one wants to hear that, but yeah, that's how I am. So I'll tell you all about that in part 3, but this is getting really, really long. This is really just to help someone, and we had to finish that story up. But last time, before I edited it, it was way longer than you guys think, and editing this is going to be terrible because my camera overheated 3 times. So yeah. Also, there's a fly, and it's driving me absolutely insane right now. I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, please, 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 if you are going through this or know somebody that's going through this, please, please reach out. If you're going through this, try to reach out to a friend. I reached out to my friend that I knew when I was 4 years old when I was going through this, because I just needed somebody, and she was there, and she was willing to listen. So please just reach out to somebody. Please, somebody's willing to listen. And if you know someone's going through this, please reach out. They probably need a friend, even if they're not willing to leave yet. Like, maybe they just want to talk for a little bit. They're lonely. But I do understand how hard it is being on the friend side of that. Like, it's hard to see your friends go through that. So, yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you guys today, because this is getting pretty long, so make sure to watch out for part 3. I release an episode every single Friday. Eventually, we'll be done talking about this. I think the next part will be the last part. Just make sure to watch out for part 3. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. And if you're listening on podcast, make sure to give it a 5-star rating. It helps me so much and helps me build my community and reach the people that do need to hear this. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Sorry to be talking about a sad topic, but yeah. I love you guys more than anything in the world, and until next week. I love you guys.